So, do you want to go from this to this? Well, I have 3 exploit-free methods to get you from Wretched to Elden Lord from the beginning of the game. Alright, so from the first step, Grace, outside the front, you can do this from the very beginning of the game. You will have to dodge enemies and all of that stuff. First thing we're gonna do is obviously, you know, you probably don't want to leave your bits and pieces behind. So you'll run to the first church you see, go in there, grab the grave site, get everything you need, and then we're immediately rushing off, following the road. As you do pretty much any normal start to the game, you always find yourself going through here until we find the town. Again, this is quite a low early game rune farm. I wouldn't suggest doing it for a prolonged period of time. It's not that great, but it will allow you to buy the early stats that you require to make things a little bit easier on yourself. So here we have the Agheel Lake North, and then from there we're going to go down and cross over this bridge at the bottom. We're going to ignore all the NPCs trying to get our attention. And again, if you're looking for a better rune farm for later on in the game, please make use of those timestamps and skip ahead. This is not my recommended method, but for a brand new game is a good way to get some early levels. This is definitely it. Ow. Ow. So we're just gonna keep running past all of these guys. We don't need or care about them. Now there should be another grave site near here that you can grab to stop off at on your way, if you're just trying to collect as much as you can on your way, which you may as well. There should be the Mistwood outskirts side of Grace, which I already have it somewhere. It's just slightly off the road, I believe, so we might not actually see it while we're running down here. And this is just going to take us to where we really want to be, which is the Third Church of Marika. Third Church of Marika is the location that we're trying to get to for this early farm. That's here, Third Church of Marika. We'll grab the Grace, and then we're going to go out the back. Just go out the back, find the pond, and here is an early game teleport to a late game area. Travel to another location. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And this should have us arrive at the Bestial Sanctum. Now, through here, when you open the door, there's the NPC here. He's also a late game boss, but for now, he's your friend, provided you give him death things. That's part of a quest line later on, so we're not going to look at it. Right here, in this rather open stairwell, will actually be a monster that is particularly unpleasant. I have already killed him. You are going to want to jump on Torrent and just run past him. Take as wide a berth as you possibly can, because he will one-tap you if you're doing this as a level 1 Wretched or whatever you started as. And you just want to make your way down here. You can see I've got the blue icons because my memory is trash. And then we jump down here. And this is the Farum Great Bridge side of Grace. Now we're going to get that. And this is where you need Torrent, because we're going to have to fly ourselves underneath the wing of this dragon and hope he doesn't mind our existence. Don't worry about me. He'll scream a lot, which will give us plenty of time to just run past. He's not an immediate fire-breathy dragon like the other ones, so we're all good. Do-do-do. And then we're going to carry on going to our left on the road. So you go to this cross in the road, turn your way left, So you see this big magic tower. Now there's ways to get into that magic tower, but we don't really care about that. We care about one thing, which is this big gust of air that should be floating around here somewhere. Big gust of air. There it is. And we're going to jump down. And the gust will save us so that we don't die. And then we're where we want to be. Lenny's Rise. Lenny! And this is where we wanted to be. So again, for a quick recap, we started here at the first step. We go to the Church of Elleh. Then we go to Agheel Lake North. We're running past Mistwood Outskirts. It's slightly off the road, as I said. We didn't find it. And then we arrive at the third Church of Marika. You take the portal around the back in the pool, like I said, and it will bring us over to the Bestial Sanctum, which then takes us to Farum Greatbridge. You go and find the tower, jump down the air, and you'll be at Len's Rise. And this is where the first XP gathering mechanic exists. As you can see, lots of people have died here, probably from doing the same thing. And you'll go down, and eventually a big orb will spawn behind you and squish you. Obviously you don't want to get squished, but when it falls off, it will give you around about 15 to 1700 runes. Let me see if I can actually do this without being bombed, because as a low level you don't want to get bonked. It will insta kill you. It will insta kill you, so you don't want to get hit by it. And you kind of just gotta get down to the... People mark this up, so, and then jump, and it'll roll off the edge, and you'll get your runes. Now obviously you're not going to get 3,900 like I did, because I'm on New Game Plus. You're going to get around about 1,700 per drop. As I said, it's not fantastic, but when you're level 1, doing that a couple of times is going to buy you 10 levels in Vigor or something, 20 levels of Vigor. That would be quite nice. It's a good, easy, from the start of the game way of getting yourself enough souls, enough runes for you to basically, you know, start your journey more comfortably than otherwise. Alright, now for the intermediate to higher rune farming area, as far as I'm concerned. And it would take place, you'll get an item that teleports you to Dynasty Mausoleum entrance. This pertains to a quest line by the White Mask. You will see him at the start of the game, obviously. He's waiting outside. He's literally just got done killing your maiden, which is why she's dead. And he knows that you have no maiden, without, you know, the first time ever seeing you. And it's going to be a quest line that revolves around the Rose Church, and you'll go and do a bunch of stuff for him, and eventually he will knight you. I'm not going to do a quest on this because you can find plenty of those elsewhere. So we're just going to work from here. So when you get teleported into the area, you're going to be teleported down there. Just going to run up the stairs, grab the Grace, and then we're going to go to the real Grace point that we want. So we're going to jump down here. Now, there are monsters in here which basically spawn the giant skeleton boss that tries to kill you. So if you stick to the right, you will aggro less of them later on. There's a guy there, the little red dudes with the horns. Hey, there it is. You can hear or you can feel the grumble of the ground as this boss is summoned. So you stuck to the right all the way here, and then you're immediately going to loop around to the left once you go through the little cave entrance type part to the next area. Oh, we went a little bit too far. You have to loop right around. It's a complete U-turn. And it drives you down this end, and then you're going to stick to the right again once you're through here. And we're just going to run past absolutely everything. There's plenty of stuff to explore if you feel like it. It's a very killy area until you find your way out to this hill. We're going to ignore all of these guys again. These are a part of our later farming strategy. We're not going to use it now. We're just going to run through them all. And this is the side of Grace that we wanted. So we'll jump here, grab this side of Grace. Boom, Lost Grace discovered. I haven't done it yet on this New Game Plus. And now we have our leveling area. We're at the Palace Approach Ledge Road. Now, how do you do this version? So we're just gonna grab any weapon. It doesn't have to be something we're efficient with. We'll just grab a crossbow. We have literally no use. And then we're just going to shoot this bird when he comes between the trees, because your arrow will hit the tree at certain points. Boom. And it's just going to run off the edge. And it'll drop down there. And when it dies, you'll get a load of runes. Now, I got 22,000. You're going to get about 11,000 because this is New Game Plus. So obviously, I'm getting more runes than you will. But 11,000 per shot. And you're just going to go back to the Grace. Come back. Load your next shot. Wait for him. Not shoot the ground like I did. Shoot him. And he's going to do the same thing every time. Now, the moment he runs off the edges and opens his wings, you've killed him. And you can safely, quickly run back to the Grace and do it all over again. And that is the second, I would say, middle ground farming. You can do, you know, you can get through like 100 of those pretty quickly if you want. It's a good source of runes. Now, last but not least, we have the Sacred Relic Sword farming strategy in the exact same place that we were literally just at. Now, this requires you to have completed the game. You have to have at least done one entire playthrough to get the Sacred Relic Sword. And the Sacred Relic Sword basically is how you're going to farm. Now, I'm probably not going to be able to do it very well on here because I have none of the stats required. And basically, it's charged heavy, or weapon attack rather, is a big blast that hits everything in this alley. You can see the little ghosts are doing it. I can't do it because I don't have the faith. But basically what's going to happen here is a big, like, providing you've got the stats required to use the weapon, a big wave of gold is going to just go rushing down here. It's going to kill everything. You're going to walk back over to this side of Grace and you're just going to sit and you're going to do it again and again and again and again. Now, even it takes about a few seconds, and even in the very first playthrough of the game, just 1 or 2 waves down here to kill everything is going to net you roughly 20,000 runes. Which is, there's less aiming involved. There's less, you know, it's more than one. You basically get up, you run over, you weapon art, you run back, you run over, you weapon art, you run back. And you can net yourselves 100,000 runes in literally a few seconds. It is that good. That is how I farmed up a lot of my runes, because in my initial playthrough and my desire to just casually explore everything, I went a little overkill. I was like, you know what? I want to be able to explore and not have to worry about runes being lost. So I'm just going to use this farming method. And that is mostly how I got everything. Obviously, in New Game Plus, it's easier. There are items you can get. Let me just find it. There are items you can get which also make this easier. There are talismans. You can get the Scarab Talisman. Increases runes obtained by defeated enemies. There are also items that you can get. The Pickled Feet. The Gold Pickled Feet. Boost rune acquisition. I don't use any of these. Again, I hate farming for items. I hate the idea of having to use my consumables. I don't last very long. The Scarab's right, adds 20% more. You know, it's all good. But basically, this is the best farming methods. Now, there are a lot of jump puzzle type methods here, and you can actually use it to kill the boss of this place. I'm not going to go too in depth on that because I think they're kind of a scam. You'll see a bunch of videos, even with these methods, going, you can make bajillions of runes in a second. And it's like, yeah, not really. Not until you're like New Game 7. The realistic idea is that you're, you know, by the time you're in New Game 7, you don't need runes. So it's a complete waste. Whereas here, you know, at the start of the game, you probably want to just top yourself up a few stats and whatnot. And the DLC area is actually just up a lift to our right here. So whether or not FromSoft knew it or not, it feels coincidental. Well, it feels less coincidental rather that the primary rune farming location is literally front door to the DLC location. It's almost like they want you to be here so that you have the ability to grind what you need to do level-wise to make your DLC experience easier. Anyway, that's all for me in this video. Hopefully you find this helpful. There's a lot of videos on this stuff, you know, if you search it up, you're gonna find this stuff out. That's great and everything, but they completely fudge the numbers. They'll show like a picture of 10 trillion runes, and they'll be talking about getting hundreds of thousands a run, and it's like that's only gonna happen with the Pickled Feet on, with the Scarab on, New Game 7 Plus, you know, it's not realistic. So the first method we used with the Rolling Boulder is going to net you about 1500 to 1750, I think it is. I think it's 1750 for the Rolling Boulder that we did at the very beginning of the video. Now, the bird, shooting the bird and then sitting at the grace, that's going to net you about 11,000 per shot. And then the big wave using the Sacred Sword is going to net you between 20 to 30,000. Depending on how thorough you are, you can go down further and kill a couple more. But that's going to be the best farming method that isn't a one-off jump puzzle. Anyway, thank you for watching. Any comments and stuff in the description, I will try to answer. And yeah, have a good time.